What's up, everybody? How are you doing this evening? Man, I hope y'all are doing amazing. Hope you're doing well. I thought I would get on here and just, man, I haven't done a stream or a live video like this to my profile page. I can't remember the last time we did it. Me and Shanna just been putting our head down and putting putting our feet on the ground and putting our hand to the plow, sounding like a rapper right now. But man, I missed saying hey to folks. So this is kind of like, this is just something I wanted to do. I wanted to jump on and I wanted to talk. I wanted to hey, what's up, man? Look, 2022. Wow. I just forgot what month we're in. What month are we in? It's a blur sometimes. We're in the month of February. It's February 8th. How's your year going? Look. What looks different from this year in comparison to last year? Like, what is going on? Does anything look different? Like, is it all good? Are you good? Man, are you good? Um, like this is this is a this is a challenge for a lot of people, right? This is a challenge. This is like something that a new year brings new opportunities. It brings um, new, different from even just last year. Um, so this is how I spend my evening. I just wanted to invite you all in and just kind of check out, you know, check out what's up, see what's happening around here. And I see you. What's up, Tristan, Michaela? What up, y'all? Hope everybody's good. Um, yeah. So what is new? What's good? Are you good? That's all I want to know. Are you good? Are you good? Are you good? I have some friends who are who are kind of hanging out with me, who are uh, learning some new things with me, and it's amazing. You would be amazed what you're able to do and what you're able to learn when you learn it and teach it. Okay, let me explain this. So as as you learn anything new, you're going to be challenged. You're going to have challenges. It's not, for some people it just clicks like automatically. It's just like, it's easy. Like they're just living on a different planet and it just happens and they have no struggles and they just whiz right through it. Well, you know what? That's not my case. I got to really hey you all, thanks for joining. I gotta really work. I gotta work on me in order to really get to the place where I want to be. Man, I'm just rhyming all night. It's crazy. I gotta work on me in order for in order to get to the place I want to be. I really have to chisel away at some of the weaknesses. Yeah, man, at some of the weaknesses that I have, and one of the weaknesses I have is that I tried to learn something. I tried to master it before I ever tried to teach it, and this was a weakness because it seemed as though that once I've gotten to a place where not necessarily expert at something, but really kind of had a good grasp of it, right? Like and then I try to teach it, and I would get frustrated because I would think to the people I was trying to talk to, like, why is it not clicking with you? Well, man, I had to say, man, come on, man. It took you like 2 years to get this. You trying to expect others to catch it in one conversation. So I prayed about it. I prayed. I said, okay, how can I be a better teacher? And this is what came to me. In order for me to be a more effective teacher, I have to become a better student. Come on. Come on. I got to be a better student. I got to be able to really understand the learning process. And not everybody has the same learning process. But I have this fascination with learning because I believe that I can learn anything. There's not a language that I believe that I cannot learn. There's not a musical instrument. In my case, I happen to be a musician that plays several different instruments, and I've it dawned on me that the way I've been able to learn those instruments is through what I call accelerated learning. And this may not interest you, but man, for those of you who are looking at 2022 and it's kind of started off the same kind of way as 2021 or 2020, God forbid, right? But I'm not talking about, so much in terms of what's going on in our culture, society, and news and this, that, and the other. I'm talking about what's going on in your head, like what's going on in your mind, which at the end of the day, that's really the only thing that you can really get mastery of is your mind. So as I'm looking at how I'm learning and I'm fascinated with learning, how do I become a better teacher? How to become a better what is a teacher? A teacher is an example, right? A teacher, I mean, if you have kids, you're a teacher whether you have a degree or not. I don't know if you realize that, but you're a teacher. And the way you teach is by example. Okay. So what does this mean? This means that I discovered something. I discovered something about myself and how I learn. And I had to make an edit. I had to make an adjustment. And it took a lot of humble. It required me to be a lot more humble. And here's how it goes. All right. Here's how it goes. And for some of you, it's going to be like real elementary. You'll be like, what, man? That's it? Yeah, that's it. It's really simple. Here it goes. As I learned something, as I learned a new thing, in my case, I'm learning how to be better with business and finance and investments and learning about the new space of digital currencies and cryptocurrencies and ways to enter into the market that best utilizes my capital. This couple of different things, right? Well, as I'm learning it, here's what I discovered. As I learned it, if I teach it as I'm doing it, follow this, because it's like a pattern. As I learn and I do it and I turn around and teach it, as I'm learning it and as I'm doing it, and I'm turning right around like the same moment and teach it, there becomes this accelerated learning process. As I'm learning every little bit, every little chunk, every little nugget, I do what I just learned and then I teach what I just did in the same moment. Accelerated learning. Now, it's kind of real elementary when you think about it. It's like, yeah, so I mean, if you put it in elementary terms, yes, okay. If I have a crayon and I got a piece of paper and I draw a circle and I learn how to draw a circle and then I just draw a circle and then I teach somebody else how to draw a circle. That's pretty elementary. Then I I learn how to color the circle like a shade, right? And then I do it. And then I teach. Well, in that case, it's real elementary. But man, when you learn something that is difficult, and how do you know it's difficult? Because when you attempt it, you want to quit. Now that's a challenge to learn, do, and teach, because that makes you vulnerable to failure, and failure in the sight of others. So this concept of accelerated learning is to learn a thing, to grasp it, and then to do it. And then as you are learning and demonstrating, you're teaching it to somebody else. But what does that mean? You may be teaching them wrong, but you will at some point understand what needs to be tweaked. And then you learn that and you do that, and then you teach the tweak or teach the adjustment or teach the edit. And I just find this fascinating because when I put this kind of accelerated learning mechanism or this pattern and I use it as a tool, man, I can learn anything. You can learn anything. Whatever it is that you find challenging. You you learn it. Okay. For those of you who are just joining us, thank you for joining us. I see you all. Miss Lily, Joey, Tristan, Vanessa, Michaela, Carla. My mom's on here. Hello. We're talking about learning. How I love to learn. And I found that accelerated learning is a process. How do you learn all these instruments? Well, I'm really patient with myself when it comes to learning instruments because I've started at such a young age. And the true gift of musicianship or the true gift of the creative process, the true gift of artistry is being able to have patience with yourself as you're learning because you're not going to sound good at all at first. I remember when I was learning how to play music, I can't imagine what it sounded like to my parents because I know what I sounded like to me, and I was just chopping away at it like, man, I'm going to get this, I'm going to get this. But they're in the other room thinking, oh my gosh, what is he doing in there? Yeah, so it's like you don't sound good or you don't execute it well at first. You don't make decisions right at first when you're learning. And so you have to be able to have patience, not to learn it. You have to have patience with yourself, okay? And give yourself some grace to allow the information or the experience or the technology to become a part of your everyday life. Okay. I remember there were days where people were like, how do you use Facebook? And they're calling me like, how do you do this? And I was giving them lessons on how to do it. And now you just pull out your phone. It's like, second nature. It becomes a part of your natural abilities. Okay. But at first, it requires patience with yourself. Second, it requires forgiveness for yourself. Because the decisions that you make in learning, they may be mistaken, right? You may make a mistake, right? You grasp it in a wrong way. You mistook it, okay? You mistook it. So accelerated learning means that as I learn a thing, as I'm grasping it, whether good, bad, or somewhere in between, I do it the way I learn it, and then I teach it the way I just did it. And as you create this motion, it creates motion. And the more you learn, the more you do, the more you teach, the more you learn, the more you do, the more you teach. And the faster you learn, the faster you do, and the faster you teach, creates this motion, right? That creates movement. That creates progress in learning. Man, and so recently, man, since April, I've been trying to understand what this chart means. And I just got fascinated with it to the point where here's something else that once you start to give yourself to a certain thing, it is the law of reciprocity. It starts to give back. And so the idea is that if I give my time, if I give my thought, my attention, my energy to a certain thing, at some point it'll give back, whether it's positive or negative. If I give my thought, my mind, my attention, my energy, my time, my treasure, my talents to something that's negative, guess what's coming right back to me? Okay, something negative. But if I give something that is bearing fruit, if I give something, my energy and my resource to something that is bearing productivity, right? Then at some point, I'm going to be the recipient of something that is going to be fruitful and bearing productivity. It is just a law. It just happens. The Bible talks about it. You reap what you sow. That's it. So I've been giving myself to this chart, and I know it looks confusing. I know it looks like to most people, man, that looks just like scribble on a page. But let me tell you something. When you are able to decipher some of the different things that are happening on this page, it has the potential to give back to you in a way that you don't even know. In a way that you like it, like yeah, this is something we can do. This is something that is accessible, attainable, and I have the capacity to understand it. And as I'm learning it, I'm doing it, and as I'm doing it, I'm teaching it. And the more I learn, the more I do, the more I teach. The more I learn, the more I do, the more I teach. And I said this earlier in the video, you don't have to necessarily say anything to teach it. All you got to do is do it. I didn't say teach it by speaking. I said you learn it, you do it, and as you're doing it, you're being a teacher. Anybody who has kids understands what I just said. Because you learn a thing, you start doing a thing, and you start teaching it before you ever open your mouth. Come on. Huh? So you're a teacher already, by example. It's whenever you're able to put words and start to describe and start to really in great detail, and elaborate what it is that you've learned and how you do it, that you become someone who can explain it verbally. But before you ever explain it verbally, you've already taught it by how you did it. So you are an example. And I just wanted to leave that with y'all as we are moving forward into 2022. And I'm just believing that the next challenge that you are faced with, you're not going to quit. Not this time. You're not going to quit. You're not going to give up. You're going to face the challenge with the understanding, if I could just learn a little bit and do a little bit every day and teach a little bit, that will begin this motion and this movement towards mastery. And once you've mastered a thing, once you've understand the power behind mastery, then you're able to wield it like a sword. Then you can aim at something and hit the target. Whatever the case may be. This might be a dream. It might be something that you at once dreamed of something happening, and it becomes reality because you learned how to do it in small doses, right? And then over time, you're able to see the thing that you once dreamt about. You're able to walk into the room of the place that only at one point lived in your mind. So, I know, man, deep thoughts, man. You got the music playing and all that, man. Yeah. So I want you to think about that tonight. All right? So I'm going to leave you all with that. Man, y'all have a blessed evening. And I'll be back. We'll be talking some more. So have a good evening. Peace out.